Welcome back to another exciting video. And what we're going to be talking about today is the NUX B-3 Plus wireless system transmitter and receiver. So if you're like me, and chances are you are like me when it comes to being in a band, you absolutely hate cables. I hate cables. I cannot stand cables. The only thing worse than going to band practice or gig and having to deal with all the cables is when your drummer shows up with a cold pizza, because that is his, regular job, is pizza delivery guy. So when he shows up with the cold pizza and cables, two worst things in being a band. So in my never-ending quest to get rid of cables, I started searching. I started here and far. I started trying to figure out what's a good way to start getting rid of some of these cables without having to buy all new gear, because as you know, that can be very expensive. Well, this really came to a head when at my church, I'm the AV guy. That's one of my part-time gigs. I work at the church on the weekends, and I do the audio and the video. And so out of the blue, they decided they didn't want the choir to be where the choir was going to be anymore. So now they moved the choir into the front of the stage, down in front of the peeps in the sanctuary, where there's no microphones. Brilliant. So I thought, okay, well, they did this last weekend, and I live stream our service, and of course, you can hear everything going on, and as soon as the choir starts singing, nothing. So I thought, well, that ain't going to work. I need to come up with a better solution. So lo and behold, I went and talked to my buddy Rick, who owns a little music store, and he highly recommended this NUX B-3 Plus. And I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. And I got to tell you, I was absolutely blown away by this thing. I was kind of shocked at how good it worked. So I thought, well, I'm going to do a quick review on this, because these street for about $180, and this thing was absolutely freaking amazing. And the simplicity of it is what I loved about it the most. So let's just get in here and knock this thing out. It comes in a little box right here. Pretty cool. Pop the box open. You have your manual, your instructions in here. Comes with two pieces. Comes with a transmitter and receiver. And they're pretty cool. And this thing worked amazingly. This transmits over the 2.4 gigahertz. And it puts out at 44.1 hertz. Well, 44.1 hertz, is that any good? Well, that's what you're listening to right now as I'm recording at 44.1 hertz. So this thing was absolutely crazy good. And before I go any further, I guess the company's NUX. I have no idea. All I know is that they have, this is not a paid video, and they have absolutely no idea what I'm going to say. Hell, they don't even know I got their product. So, like I said, this is not a paid subscription. Oh, dude, NUX rocks. It's nothing like that. This is completely my own opinion. They do not pay me to do these. And so, you know what? They don't get to control what I say. And I like it that way. So anyway, as you can see here, you have a receiver and you have a transmitter. And these are crazy easy to work with. And and that's one of the things I liked about them, besides the sound quality, is how easy it was to set this up. If you can see right here, it's got a little button when it's connected into a unit. You push that button to pull that off, and that's what locks it in. Now, granted, this is not how you use it. This is for demonstration purposes only. So you pull that out, and you're good to go. It does have its own lithium battery inside of it, and all you got to do to charge it is you find a cable. I think I got a cable. You find a cable, and you find a plug. And I got a plug. Plug it in. Stay. And then it's got a port right here. Boop, 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 boop. Bing. And then it charges. And a full charge, this will run for about 7 hours, which is actually pretty freaking impressive, considering what it does. Now, I did not get a chance to test how long it takes to charge, because I got these a day before I needed them, and I just plugged them up before I went to bed. But Rick did tell me that they were going to seriously need to be charged. So when I got up in the morning, they were both charged. This one works exactly the same way. Plug this up. Got to make sure you're putting it in correctly. And then it charges. Got the little red light telling you it's charging. So like I said, how long it takes to actually charge, I don't know. I did not get a chance to test that. But what I did get a chance to test, and like I said, I was absolutely floored by this little thing. So much so, we're putting 6 of these in my church, and my band is actually going to purchase 4 of these. That's how impressed with these that we actually were. So let's knock this out real quick. So this is a very, very fast, very to the point, in and out video. Like I said, this is called the NUX B-3. You have a receiver and you have a transmitter. The transmitter obviously plugs into whatever you're going to transmit, be it a microphone. My acoustic guitar that I used to have, the one where I broke the neck on, actually had an XLR out. I could easily plug this into there also. And I did test this on my my Fractal. Now, I only got the one, so I couldn't do it in stereo, so I didn't record it. But I plugged this into the back of my XLR on my Fractal, plugged this into my board, and it worked absolutely flawless. I was shocked at how well that worked. To the point where I was thinking, man, I might just put 2 of these in the back of my Fractal and just be done. And that way I don't have to lug all these freaking cables around, because cables are a nightmare, as you know. Cables going in the board, out of the board, in the guitar, to the guitar, from the microphones, going to monitors, coming out of monitors, being daisy chained, coming from drums, to drums, bass players. There's cables everywhere, and cables are an absolute nightmare. And in my church, they moved the choir. And so I had to get some sound to it because they were no longer under the microphones. So I thought, well, let me test one of these out. And I can just put mics up front. And it worked absolutely fantastic. So I put a mic up there in front of the choir. Now, granted, I just did one to see if I could pick it up and see how well it was going to work. And the other mics I put up there were wired mics, but that's one thing I did not want to get into because the wires were having to go across where people walk. So it worked flawlessly. Well, after that first session was done, I hooked this up to one of my singers. I had 2 mics that are exactly the same mics. I have 2 channels on channel, I don't know, 14, 15, whatever they are, EQ'd exactly the same also. And I wanted to do an A/B test between the 2. See if I could detect any latency, because they're claiming 3.5 milliseconds of latency, which is shockingly fast, and any difference in sound. So I had my singer go back and forth and to A/B these, and I could not tell not even the slightest bit of difference in the audio quality. And that was highly impressive to me for such a small device. So I took one of the mics and I walked out of my sanctuary. They say 100 feet line of sight. I walked out of the sanctuary into the hall, out of the hall into the parking lot. Not quite 100 feet from where I was at because of the way that our church is designed, but I definitely was not line of sight, and it was still perfect, picking up absolutely wonderfully. And that shocked me also. So let's see how this works out. It's a very simple operation. What it does is it has 6 different channels on it. And I ran this for about 3 hours at church and then 3 hours at band practice. They claimed 7 hours. It has not been charged since. So let's see how much battery it's got on it. When you push this and turn it on, it's going to indicate 1 through 6 on your battery level. 6 obviously being 100% charged. So let's see what we got. So it's at 2. So I'm assuming this is going to be about 15% charged, which would make about sense. They say they last 7 hours, and I ran them for about 6, which is phenomenal because that's more than you're ever going to need it during a show. And as you can see, it's blinking red right now. Now, it's blinking red because it is not paired to anything. This will continue to blink red. If not paired for 10 minutes, then this will turn itself off to save battery. Brilliant. I like that. Now, when you turn this unit on right here also, it'll do the same. It'll give you the battery indicator, and let's see what we got. It is also at 2. So these are both at about 15%. But if you noticed, they turned blue. These pair themselves. They never come unpaired. As soon as you turn this on, then you turn this on, they find it, they pair, and they both turn blue, which is absolutely fantastic. Another very cool thing about it is if you can see, it's on channel 5. It'll find the channel with the least amount of friction, the least amount of static, the least amount of noise, the cleanest channel between the 2, and automatically put the 2 together. So they're on channel 5. And when I had them at church, they were on channel 1. When I had it for band practice, they were on channel 2. In my podcast room, for whatever reason, they're on channel 5. But it will always search out the cleanest signal, and that's what will pair between 1 and 6. And out of the 6 hours I've used them, actually a little more than 6 hours because I did my fractal test with it. I have not tested it with this wireless against the wireless coming off of my guitar to see, because even though the latency on my wireless on my guitar is extremely low, it's faster than this. If you keep stacking up latency, then obviously you're going to start having an issue. So that I have yet to test out, and I will at one point. But regardless of that, like I said, as you can see, these are both sitting at channel 5. The lights are blue. Now it's pretty cool. If you take the button on the transmitter and you just push it real quick, the lights will turn red. It mutes the signal. So now you have no signal coming out. Push it again real quick, and the lights will turn blue. It is now active again. Push this and hold it to shut it down. It'll turn off. This will start blinking red to let you know that it has lost connection. And like I said, after 10 minutes, this one will turn off to save battery power. Push and hold this one, and it turns the unit off. And that's literally all there is to it. That is insane to me that it works this well at a street price of about $180. So let's turn this on. Let's see what channel it comes up on. It's still showing 2 for our battery level. Blinking red. Turn this on. Showing 2 at our battery level. Boom, blue. Now they're both on channel 1. Because for whatever reason, channel 1 was the cleanest channel at this point. The less signal, the less interference between the two. Absolutely brilliant. And I got to admit, it looks pretty cool hanging off the end of a microphone. Everybody got these blue lights hanging on stage. It's pretty neat. I absolutely love this little thing. I absolutely love this. So yeah, there's going to be 4 of these going into my band, and there's going to be 6 of these going into my church. So like I said, this is in no way sponsored by anybody but Trace Taylor. Trace Taylor's who sponsors all this stuff. The Trace Taylor Great Guitar Giveaway, sponsored by Trace Taylor. All the crap that I have to buy to do these videos, sponsored by Trace Taylor. And that's okay, because guess what? I can do and say what I want to do without any sway or decision from anybody else. And that is what I love. Absolutely what I love. So it comes in this little cool cool little case here. It does have a charging cable. The one that I was using, this is my own charging cable. I doubt theirs is quite this long. But absolutely fantastic. It is the NUX B-3 2.4 wireless microphone system, but it will work in anything that takes an XLR port. Absolutely love this, and it streets for about $180. So if you hate cables like I do, or you just want something that's crazy simple to use that you don't have to think about, because let's be honest, when you're getting ready for a show, you've got a ton to think about. Stage setup, sound, music, guitar solos, rhythms, backing vocals. You know, is that you're going to have a great crowd? You're going to have a bad crowd? Is it going to be a rowdy crowd? There's so much going in your mind. One more thing just to not think about is absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it streets for about $180. You can't see it, but it says right there. 180 bucks right there. And this thing is absolutely amazing. So if you hate cables, you might want to check this out. Or if you just want something that's a no-brainer, check this out, because this is absolutely a no-brainer. This is worth every bit of $180. Every bit of $180. Highly, highly impressed. Highly recommend the NUX B3 Plus. Absolutely stunned by this thing. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up right there. And like the great Sammy Hagar says, that's my radio voice, by the way, if you haven't noticed. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up right there. And like the great Sammy Hagar says, if you miss the beat, you lose the rhythm, and nothing falls into place. Whatever instrument you play, practice, 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 learn your theory, and let's all be rock gods. And until the next video, rock on.